Hello and welcome to day 14, I think it is, of the marathon, where I am recording this at midnight because I'm way behind schedule, so sorry if my voice sounds a little different than usual. Now, Golden Sun 64 takes Mario 64 and turns it into one of my favorite game genres of all time. You know it, you love it, it's RPGs. No, not that kind of RPG, stupid. This kind, you know, swords and numbers. Now I need to confess something before I continue. I know nothing about Golden Sun, other than that it's a JRPG for the Game Boy Advance that isn't Mother 3. My first exposure to this series was I think the third game on the DS when I heard about it at E3 in 2009. Reggie got on the stage and he said, "Golden Sun is a Japanese role-playing video game for the Nintendo DS." He said it exactly like that. Now at the time, I was disappointed in Nintendo for spending any amount of time focusing on anime games that I'd never heard of in my life instead of announcing a proper sequel to Thousand Year Door. Some things never change. And I do mean never. But from what I understand, Golden Sun is supposed to be pretty ballin', as the kids say, and Golden Sun 64 is a short, fun reimagining of that game, and it was requested to me. And just so you're all aware, yeah, even though there are only 11 days left, don't be afraid to make a request because there's still a non-zero chance I can fit it in there. With all that out of the way, let's rock. Before I start, I have to give major props to this 35-page PDF instruction manual that comes with the game. This is a remarkably high-effort thing. Not only does it get you up to speed with all the game's mechanics, which means it doesn't have to waste your time with tutorials, but it's also just nice to look at. There's a lot of personality and charm in the manual's illustrations and writing, and it's also made very much to look like an official instruction manual that you would see if you bought an actual N64 game in real life. The game also tells you which very specific emulation settings are not set correctly and what they should be, if they're not already configured. In the past, I could spend hours of my life banging my head against a wall trying to figure out how to boot a game that keeps going to a black screen, so it's great that the game just tells you, hey, you're doing it wrong. This is how you do it. By the way, Serene Fusion from day 3 was not supposed to have those weirdo graphics. That was just because I ignored the warnings about the bad emulator, so rest assured that I am not dicking around this time. The premise of Golden Sun 64 is that King Babam has taken over this lighthouse thing and is rapidly remilitarizing. He stole the 4 elemental stars to take over the world, so Mario finds himself at Neo Angara to hunt down the stars and overthrow the king. Along the way, he meets 3 other heroes named Vario, Jurio, and Mario. Not Mario, it's Mario. All 4 of these characters have their own strengths, stats, and weaknesses while corresponding to each of the 4 elements of fire, earth, wind, and water. It's worth reiterating that I'm not very familiar with Golden Sun's story. I imagine there are a number of liberties being taken. I'm at least 40% sure that King Babam is not in Golden Sun. I don't know that it has Goombas either, but any Golden Sun's sons are free to correct me on that. This certainly is an RPG. I'm talking random encounters. I'm talking turn-based combat. The older I get, the more I've gotten used to these things. I've been trying to bring myself out of my RPG ignorance, and slowly but surely, I'm learning to love this style of gameplay. Yeah, it is a little annoying when you're trying to platform and the random encounter interrupts your momentum, but the actual battle system is great. And yes, Cheese Puff and the boys actually had to make an entire RPG battle interface. You have all these different sections for different moves, special moves, summons, and tactics. This ain't just some slapdash pseudo thing, this is the big time, Jacko. And I actually really enjoyed it by the end. Of course, a lot of that had to do with the fact that I was inadvertently grinding while exploring and trying to figure out what to do. And by the end, I was so broken that every fight was decided in one turn of me blasting the multi-hit attacks that hit everyone for 3 billion damages each. I guess that's one of the things about RPGs that still low-key bugs me. There is not often a direct indication of what level you're expected to be when you're fighting an enemy or boss, and trying to find that balance between hopelessly underleveled and all-devouring demon lord of all monsters can be tricky, but sometimes I ask myself, should I even care? That being said, the combat is still very cinematic, repurposing the Mario 64 assets in very clever and unique ways. Every character has their own elemental attacks, and the animations look pretty baller ass, as the kids say. But even more baller ass is the puzzle solving. Some of the moves can actually be used in the overworld to affect the environment. It's really cool. You even got a classic Ocarina of Time looking ass block puzzle, and you know how much I love those. To tell you the truth, I actually wouldn't mind if every RPG got remade in Super Mario 64. One of the things that always drills my dick with these games is all the walking. I feel like whether you're making a turn-based Super Nintendo era JRPG or a Western action-oriented RPG that's 40% dialogue trees, a huge chunk of that game is going to be walking around. Mario 64 was always the type of game where just moving around is fun, so by putting an RPG into Super Mario 64, you take the walking, which is a big part of the game, and you make it fun. Imagine remaking The Bitcher 3 in Mario 64. Maybe it'll finally be fun. Got him. One of the coolest parts of this game is the secrets. On top of all the secret fucko attacks you can get by collecting secret stars, you also got a secret boss fight in here, which I am not going to spoil for you, but it's pretty cool. The game actually makes you go hunting it down outside of the game. There are secret 700 character passwords hidden in Cheesepin's channel and shit. Hunting down this code almost felt like a quest in and of itself. Not a super hard one, mind you, but it could just as easily have been hidden on a signpost somewhere in the actual game. So this is a very practical, very real break of the fourth wall. Kinda reminds me of MGS1, making you check the back of the CD case for Meryl's codec number. Imagine if you got the game back in 1998 and all you had was the loose discs inside of a dollar store jewel case. You'd be screwed. What I'm trying to say is, I think this is really cool. Then there's the music, which I assume is based on music from Golden Sun. I don't know that for a fact, but I think it's a pretty safe assumption, and as it turns out, Golden Sun actually has pretty good music. Golden Sun 64 is another step in my journey to overcome my resistance to JRPGs, and it's a damn good ROM hack that I can easily recommend. It has also sold me on the idea of remaking JRPGs in Mario 64. That wasn't a joke, that'd be fire. Also, should I play Golden Sun? Let me know in the chat, cause I'm looking for more JRPGs to play. My friends keep saying I should play Nocturne and Personas and shit, so I'm making an RPG bucket list. Or perhaps an enemy list. Only way to find out is to actually play them. Ho ho ho! Thank you for watching today's video and for sticking with us for 14 straight days. Now get excited because tomorrow there's a real treat for you. It's a mod of a game that we have never before discussed on this marathon, or any marathon for that matter. It's a game you all know and hopefully you all love because it happens to be really good. At least I think. So remember to drop on by 5 p.m. Eastern as usual. And as always, Merry Christmas to all.